For the next chunk of your notes, let's do a vocab check. So you can go ahead and set up the word definition and example. And we're reviewing 6 words that hopefully you've already heard throughout this lesson. So power, base, exponent, squared, cubed, and evaluate. Here are the definitions and the examples, and we'll actually highlight the examples together. So a power is another word for an exponent. So I wrote AKA exponent. The power in this example would be the superscript of that 2. The base is the factor that's being repeated. So in this example, the base is 3. The exponent shows how many times to multiply the base. So in this example, 3 to the 4th power, the exponent is 4. Squared is what we say if the exponent is 2. So instead of saying 3 to the 2nd power, I could also say 3 squared. If the exponent is a 3, we can say cubed. Instead of 5 to the 3rd power, I could say 5 cubed. And finally, evaluate just means solve. So in the problems that you're working on, if it says evaluate the expression, it just means solve it. Not only write it out, but also find the answer. So here I evaluated the expression 2 squared, or 2 to the 2nd power, is equal to 2 times 2. And when I evaluate that, solve it, the answer is 4. So that is when you find the actual answer. All right, and let's go on to the next page of our notes. The next set of problems will ask for you to write each expression in expanded form. So let's highlight expanded form because it looks similar to exponential form, but it's a little different. Expanded form is where they want you to write out what this means. So 8 to the 3rd power, or 8 cubed, does not mean 8 times 3. It means 8 times 8 times 8. 10 to the 6th power means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y to the 3rd power, you might see letters in math when we get into algebra. Y to the 3rd power just means that base y repeated in multiplication 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And y could stand for any number. We also have a decimal, 3 8/10, and that's being repeated with multiplication 4 times. And finally, a fraction, 2/3 squared, or 2/3 to the 2nd power, would be 2 over 3, or 2/3 times 2/3. Remember, when we multiply fractions, we go straight across the numerator, straight across the denominator. So that gives us 4/9 if we were asked to evaluate that. We cannot evaluate this algebraic expression unless they tell us what to plug in for y. So if they said y is equal to 1, then we could plug in 1 every time we see a y, and we could solve that or evaluate that. All right. Let's apply our vocab a little bit. If we see a sentence like this, what is the value of 5 squared? Squared tells us that the exponent is 2. So 5 squared is equal to 5 times 5. And I know my multiplication facts really well, like you guys do. So I know 5 times 5 is 25. What is the value of 8 cubed? Well, 8 would be my base, and cubed means the exponent is 3. 8 cubed is 8 times 8 times 8. I know 8 times 8 is 64, and I will have to do 64 times 8. All right. And to finish off our guided practice, You're making a table and it says fill in the missing expressions for each row. So there are 3 columns here. Label them exponential form, expanded form, standard form. And I did the first one for you, the first entire row. So exponential form will look like the base and the exponent together, 3 squared or 3 to the second power. If I were to write that in expanded form, it would be 3 times 3. And in standard form, that's when we evaluate. 3 times 3 is 9. So you need to fill in the missing boxes here and then check in with your team. As soon as that's done, you can look at the exit ticket problems on Google Classroom. Thanks so much.